Hi everyone! Today we'll be going over tips about fully understanding a prompt, particularly in the context of a Blue Book exam, although these strategies are applicable to any writing prompt that you may have to work with. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with what a Blue Book exam is, here's a quick overview. Essentially, a Blue Book exam is one in which your assessment is based on written answers. There are several kinds of prompts typically asked in a Blue Book exam, and recognizing key instruction words and prompts is what we'll be going over in this video. So let's get started. You may be asked to define something, a term, idea, concept, or a key influential figure. This usually comes in the form of key term identifications, also referred to as IDs. Think of this as a mini encyclopedia entry or a slightly longer dictionary entry. Think about the basic questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how, and aim to give a succinct, pinpointed response. If a key term that you are asked to define originates from a certain reading or author, incorporate this in your answers. The define prompt is not as analytical as others, so don't get off track by trying to make it so. A slightly longer version of define is summarize, so if you come across a summarized prompt, think along the same lines. Let's move on to another key instruction word, explain. This is similar to a prompt that asks you to illustrate. Think of this as an extended version of the define prompt. A bit more detailed, a bit more analytical, but still not a full-out, complete analysis. In the context of a reading or an idea, an explain prompt is asking for a close examination, a synthesis, if you will. This is a great place to use keywords and phrases. An explain prompt usually comes in the form of a short response, also called short answers. These tend to be about a paragraph or two in length. The final key instruction word that we'll discuss today is analyze. This word usually calls for longer essays and usually focuses on something more specific. Think of this as a puzzle. You are required to analyze all the facets relevant to the issue at hand to arrive at a complete analysis. You need to take the pieces apart and then ultimately put it all together to explain the larger picture. The analyze prompt asks you to go more in depth and is more technical than the other prompts that we have discussed today. An example of an analyze prompt is, analyze the most important legal and constitutional issues in Marbury v. Madison. How did Justice Marshall establish the doctrine of judicial review? In answering this question, I would include such puzzle pieces as the context of the case, like the election of 1800 and the conflicts between Federalists and Republicans. I would also write about key legal and constitutional provisions like the Judiciary Act of 1789, the exception clause in the Constitution, and the idea of jurisdiction. My goal would be to put these puzzle pieces together to arrive at how the doctrine of judicial review was established in this landmark case. Although there are time constraints in a Blue Book exam, I recommend that you take an adequate amount of time to read the prompt and take a few quick notes about it. If you misread or misunderstand the prompt, it throws your entire exam off track. I hope that you found this helpful, and I suggest that you check out the other NYU resources that we have at your disposal. Good luck!